that, welcome to our top rope spoilers for WWE Summerslam. I'm Steve with On the Ring Apron. We have
Kia
and
Alyssa.
And hopefully everyone's having themselves a good week as we get ready for our annual trip to SummerSlam. My first time ever going to Detroit, so hopefully an enjoyable experience to say the least. But I'm looking forward to it. A little bit of vacation. We need it.
Yes, I've been. I have family there. Of course, y'all are going to start noticing I have family a little bit of everywhere. So, yeah, that'd be great.
Your thoughts?
Oh, I haven't either, but, look forward to it. I'm excited.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to getting a little bit of time, kids starting school and everything else, but there's nothing like, the big PLE weekends, especially when it comes to the Big Four. And then, it's been a little bit since we've been to Mania, and it's actually been a little while since we've gotten a chance to attend any event. Because the last one that any of us attended was me going to Puerto Rico all the way back in May.
Well, we went to Raw.
For a PLE?
No.
PLE.
Okay.
All
No,
right,
excuse me.
This is what happens when you do things live. Either way, for those of you who've never joined us before, this is where we do our predictions for our respective matches, and and then give our thoughts and our predictions, of course. We, of course, also have some nice props, including one particular new one that's joined our house, so we definitely wanted to flash and show that off here for a little bit. I'm quite excited. I can't wait for a plate exchange, although I don't think Roman's going to give us one anytime soon. Or will he? We'll find out! Y'all excited?
To see it on Jay at some point? Yes. I mean, that's just me.
I walked myself into that.
It really kind of did. It's okay. It's okay.
A quick blip at the scoreboard here, just so we can get started, because we do keep track of all of this stuff. You are putting your glasses out there like you don't already know the answer to this.
No, I really can't see even with my glasses. This is.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like a good optometrist then. Either way, 33 across the board, except for me. I'm not doing well, but. Alyssa and the OTRAs both having a spectacular NXT Great American Bash this last weekend. OTRAs, if it wasn't for Steveson and Baron going to a double countout, they would have ultimately gone perfect, provided Steveson had won, of course. But either way, Alyssa coming up just one shy of that. I did my usual bang-up job of making sure I come in last, barely beating the Street Sweepers. But at the end of the day, I'm hoping it's a setback for a comeback. But I guess we'll find out how that turns out.
Exactly.
If we would, we'll take the belts and remove them to each respective side, so that way they don't fall on us. I'd hate for that to happen. Off camera, the big one just fell on us, and that thing is heavy. So that was very unpleasant. So my shoulder will stop hurting eventually. But shout out to everybody that's going to join us in Detroit. If you happen to see us, watch for the Mania Club jerseys. We'll have them out there, and be sure to stop in and say hey. And if you see any Mania Club members out there, go say hey to them too. Mm-hmm. Wonderful contributions from my group. So we're going to slide this over here real quick. Really? Now?
Alyssa
No, I'm saying, it's making me, mellow out now.
I see.
Alyssa made spaghetti and garlic bread tonight, and it was good.
It was fantastic,
We cleared our plates, and...
She's proud of us for doing so.
I always clear my plate.
But let's move into our first match. 8 matches on the card, so in order to stay in under that hour, we'll have to definitely be moving this along.
Okay.
Definitely got to keep this as close to the 6 on each one as we can.
Got it.
But the first one is the SummerSlam Battle Royal. Now, this one is one that I don't feel like we're going to need the whole 6 minutes, because we don't know truly who all's going to be in it. The idea is that it's essentially promoted for the idea kind of like the Andre the Giant Battle Royal or the Women's Battle Royal, where essentially you get an opportunity to be able to get everybody onto the card in some way. But to my knowledge, they've only announced a handful of people that are going to be in it so far. It's Tommaso Ciampa, Bronson Reed, Shinsuke Nakamura, Chad Gable, Otis, LA Knight, and Sheamus.
Sounds like a good battle royal right there.
I mean, that you have to think probably your winner is coming from one of those 7, but you never know who might be a surprise return. You don't know if they're going to call up someone from NXT. So it's always curious to find out, who it's going to be. But with also the perspective of a battle royal, you know, it literally could go in any direction. And you would assume that whoever is going to win the match will be the next one getting pushed. So really, I guess in our idea here is to kind of kill the time as we'll go through each person making a choice, but also explaining why you're picking that particular person, knowing that virtually anyone who's not in another match is essentially available. So Kia, you've got the lead, so you'll go first.
I don't know. I could see any one of these guys actually going for it, winning the Battle Royal. I mean, Sheamus, Shinsuke. Who were the couple of others that you named? Bronson Reed,
Nakamura,
Academy.
Ciampa. I assume the Viking Raiders will probably be in there.
Yeah. I could see any one of these. I mean, I know who I would like to see. There's quite a handful of people I would like to see.
You're going to make your pick while explaining your choice.
Yeah, I mean, like, Ciampa just got back, I believe. Didn't he come back from injury, if I'm not mistaken? So
For a couple months now.
I feel like he should be able to be the one to win it. It's like we said with Cody. If Cody had been here all year, then I could see him, taking the title from Roman, but because he wasn't, that really wasn't a feasible thing. Same thing with Ciampa. He hasn't been here, so I don't see him really taking this Battle Royal. I see it like, I'm going to always pull for Shinsuke. Shinsuke, I feel like, again, we say this all the time, should have been a champion multiple times over. So that, for me, would be that. Yeah, Bronson, I could see him taking it in some underhanded tactic way, but, Sheamus, I feel like he deserves it. So those would be my top 3 picks for people to win.
But if you could only take one,
I'm taking Shinsuke. Shinsuke, most definitely. I love the entertainment value, the flair, the clothing, the costumes. I feel like he's great, and again, he needs to be at some point a champion.
Makes sense. Alyssa, you're technically tied for second, or tied for first, or I don't know how that works.
Tried.
I just know I'm in last.
We're tried.
I just know I'm last, so. Thoughts on this one and who you're picking?
Well, I mean, I'm looking like in my brain, like across the board. I'm like thinking of everyone. This honestly feels kind of random. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, it does. It feels so thrown together.
It feels very like, oh, let's just make sure more people are on the card. So I'm like thinking of like all the storylines and looking. I mean, I like Bronson. He's big. And as long as not everybody go to team up against him, it'll be
Makes
okay.
sense.
So, I mean, I feel like that would honestly be my safest choice.
But is that the choice?
I like him and Shinsuke. Like, I feel like they're sitting right there, even with each other, watching Shinsuke the other night with Ciampa, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they did really well. Again, I really like where you went with if Ciampa would have been here, they'd be pushing him, but, you get hurt and you can't really help that. He can't either, but,
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of sets you back a little bit, so. I like Bronson.
Bronson Reed?
Yeah, I can't tell you why. It's just in my gut. My gut's usually right.
I got you. All right. Well, and again, the live picks are out on our YouTube page. So if you haven't had a chance to jump over to the community page, we put a couple of options on there, and then also listed off like a comment one where we ask you to put your picks underneath it. I've seen a couple of fun names on there. I've seen Ciampa. I've seen Shinsuke, Sheamus. Talking about Gargano potentially coming back. Bray Wyatt if he wanted to make a shock and just destroy everyone. Jimmy Uso maybe being on there. But it's amazing that you can look through all the different storylines, and it's, and I'm going to go for the one person that, like, the universe is pleading for this person to get pushed. The universe is begging for this person to get pushed, and yet it's like, what is the moment that is going to finally put him over the top, get him that big win, and set things up? And, and everybody's going to go with it and say his name with me, L.A. Knight. Yeah! No.
I'm sorry.
She can't do it. L.A. Knight, I feel like, he's going to be the person that the crowd's going to be behind. If he gets eliminated, the crowd's going to boo him, boo out the door. It feels like, it feels like they're wanting to set it up for something big, and this would be a great push for Knight to start. We got 20 seconds.
I'm not gonna lie, he's wearing on me. He's like rubbing off on me with all his comedic humor. So at some point, y'all are gonna hear me. Yeah, you're gonna hear me say yes, and y'all gonna be like,
I like him and Bronson. I'll be happy either way.
yeah.
Get them down to the last two, maybe
Yeah.
Shinsuke in there as well, so,
Shinsuke,
you know.
yeah.
Hey, all our picks can find a way in there, but this will be the one that if there's one that's going to ruin our perfect one, this is probably going to be the one that's going to do it.
I was about to say, I also just thought about it, and I was like, why am I so strong about Bronson? But I thought about when he was going, like in his first like Battle Royal-esque match, didn't he go toe-to-toe with like Gunther and everybody? Like,
Yeah, and he
for
lasted,
the
and he lasted a
longest
while.
time.
Yep.
Exactly, so I like it.
Well,
Yeah, I had to put
so-
a few more facts to help myself sleep this night.
There you go.
I don't know.
It was an unconfident pick. Moving to match number 2, this is going to be definitely your money one and the one that I think could potentially have the capacity to steal the show. And that is what they're calling the viral moment match. Uh-oh, our little furry companion is on their way in to join us, so we're probably going to get some little mews here in a second. You're covered in food, so don't climb me, please. But a one-on-one matchup between the Maverick, Logan Paul, and the one and only Ricochet. Suffice to say, these two have been, at each other's throats now for a little bit. Ricochet saying he has no respect, that Paul has no respect for the business, that he doesn't belong here. The reason they went after him at Money in the Bank is frankly because they wanted to make sure he didn't win, or at least that's Logan's side of it anyway. And Logan, taking the side of like, I'm good with all of that. I'm only here to make moments, and if that means that ultimately my raw talent is better than a person who's been doing this all their life, then so be it. But at the end of the day, these two have created 2 already fantastic moments, one at the Royal Rumble back in January, and then most recently at Money in the Bank. So now you're ready to see what these two can do when being given the entire spotlight all to themselves. We've seen the talent level that Ricochet's had for years. Logan, of course, having his great several matches, including his matchup in Saudi Arabia against Roman Reigns, and then losing at Mania to Seth Rollins. So we're well capable that the two of these have the innate ability to be able to put on an absolute just showstopper in the one that could steal it. The question is, though, when you look at it all, who's going to get the W on this one? So Alyssa, we'll turn to you first on this one. Just thoughts on Paul coming in. Also, him making it a little personal on that last end of Raw, bringing Samantha into it.
Don't be bringing my girlfriend into it. What's wrong with you?
Well, you can see her look. I'd be more concerned about her.
Don't be bringing my personal life into it. We're gonna mind our business when it comes to that. My initial thoughts on this match.
Sponsor us. Chick-fil-A, give us free stuff.
My initial thoughts on this match is it is going to be high-flying, non-stop energy. I think it's honestly going to be the perfect way to open the show, He said that he wants to. But it's like the energy that both of them bring separately to each match. You always see them climb to the top rope. You always see them jumping off of stuff. So seeing them together, I can only imagine. I mean, they gave us a little small taste at the Rumble when they sat over there and
Let's just both jump at each other.
Woo!
Whack!
Exactly. So, I mean, you already kind of know what you're getting, but it's like, what else are they going to add? What else are they going to pull from the arsenal to make it, pop off that much more,
And that's exactly it. And, you see the star power of both of them already, both of them coming from completely different worlds. Ricochet already a master from that wrestling world and his talent level. Logan Paul with the ability to bring in that outside influence from outside of WWE, bringing in the TikTok followers, bringing in the Reddit followers, etc. So Kia, I turn to you, being a person who has lived most of your life being able to see things from both that, alternate reality type of side in terms of what Logan Paul is trying to push, but then also seeing it from the fan of wrestling, now seeing those worlds directly clash with each other yet again, and this time being done in more of a high flyer fashion, fast-paced, everything else. Just genuine thoughts as to where this one's leading in your mind.
I'm excited. You do understand. First of all, let's go on the record, and this is not a slight to Little Big Ball or whatever we used to call him. I'm glad Ricochet is doing his thing solo again. It makes me feel better because I feel like he's better as a solo competitor than a tag team competitor. And it's not a slight to the team; they were good for what they were, but also at the same time, Logan Paul coming in. Logan Paul, and I'm going to say this for everybody that comes in that takes this business seriously. He's done it. Shayna has done it. Ronda has done it. Bad Bunny has done it. Of all people, has taken it seriously, and hopefully will continue to come back to join wrestling. Take it serious. I feel like, in all retrospect, I'm excited from that perspective. To first of all, I want to see what Logan Paul can do again. I was amazed the fact that he was able to do that whole. He was able to wrestle with Roman, have his phone, and as he's literally going down and getting hurt, the whole thing is shot and filmed. So if he could do that in a match with Roman, and Roman's not really a high flyer, he's more of a ground and pound. I want to see how these two link up outside of what I saw when they went clashing for each other at the last one. I mean, he literally is taking his following and bringing it into wrestling, and Ricochet is literally taking wrestling and trying to, expand on what he already is doing now.
And simply put, you mentioned Bad Bunny earlier. I mean, these are two guys, Bad Bunny and Logan Paul, who have come in and have taken their love of the WWE and have found a way to make themselves, visible to that particular side of things.
I feel, and like my last comment is The Miz came in and he was a reality TV star and nobody thought he could do it. So I honestly would say he is the person that if you're looking to get out of doing something else, he's the person that you would look to, his career, his following, his everything else. He's done a very great job and he continues to do it. And now he's more like of an ambassador now, but still, it is what it is.
Exactly. 40 seconds left, so time for our picks. Second one, so Alyssa, you're up first on this one.
I'm going to take Ricochet.
Ricochet.
Ricochet to take it. Because Logan made it personal. When you make it personal, it gives you that extra edge. He has the experience. You give him that extra edge, he's good. Let's go. I'll take Ricochet.
All right. I'm going to go Logan Paul. The reason I'm taking Paul in this one, first of all, Logan's on a 2-match losing streak. He lost to Roman, he lost to Seth, both at big stages. And I feel like Ricochet is still going to be able to showcase exactly what he brings to the table, but also it could be, his side story, possibly maybe even a small heel turn in terms of him falling to Logan and losing to a guy who, could do so. We talked about Logan not being able to lose to Roman or losing to Seth, but it couldn't go the other way. But Ricochet can lose to Logan and it'd be okay. So I'm going to go Paul.
I'm noticing he's come in, he's taking the business seriously. I'm talking about Logan Paul, but I feel like anytime he lands that one knockout punch, I feel like they're out for the count. You know what I mean? So I feel like, in my opinion, I like Ricochet. I really do, especially as a solo person. But I'm gonna have to pick Logan Paul because, like you said, he's been on a losing streak, and I feel like this is the turnaround. Now I'm gonna go ahead and say, I need you, Ricochet, to hear me when I say this. He made it personal. You don't ever let no one take it to your fiance or your girlfriend like that. You beat his butt. I don't want to.
Side pick here, just real quick. Yes or no? Does Samantha get involved?
I feel like she might try to, but I don't feel like she actually gets in and gets involved. I feel like she might try to say something from the sidelines, like from her spot where she's sitting, but not like get involved with actually fight.
Oh, I didn't say she'd wrestle. I said, would she get involved? Like, does she play a role in the end?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. Alrighty, match 3. And this is one that, I'll be blunt, I didn't think they were going to be able to emotionally invest me in this one, and they didn't, until we got to this last Raw. And it's the MMA fight between Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. Now, this is one that, unless you've been living under a rock, you essentially know what this match entails. It's essentially Ronda's swan song from WWE. Everyone's expecting she's gone after this. They're already making movie plans. They're already making, possible, MMA Strikeforce return. You're hearing rumors about that. But it allows them to be able to run that storyline of giving Ronda and Shayna that one-on-one match that they've never had, that essentially gives them the opportunity to showcase exactly where they've been and how far they've come. But, this felt like one that was going to be kind of a throwaway match, as you went through it. And it's tough to say that when you talk about someone with the caliber of Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. And yet, that video package they did on Raw, Shayna at the very end talking about her, with the exception of her mom and her husband, no one else, I was the next person to hold her baby, and she's never going to forgive me for what I'm about to do to her mom. You know, like, heartstrings pulled. Like, at this point, gloves are off, no pun intended, and also doing this under MMA rules is what they're calling it, an MMA rules match. I don't know if that means they're going to put an octagon in the middle of the ring, or are they going to, you know, is it going to be essentially a submission or knockout match? You know, I don't know what that entails because they've never done it in WWE style. So, you know, we've been seeing where this is going, so Keel, we'll start with you, you know.
You have to understand, when I was a teenager, I didn't know who these two were. All I knew is that they were badass, they could kick butt, and I've been following their career from the moment I was middle school going into high school, so I didn't know who they were, but I just knew, hey, I want to be just like them. I want to be just like that. How can I do that? That just, to me, just like, it was kick-ass. So to see them go from their past all the way till now, and they're bringing their past into the future, again, they've come in, they've taken it seriously. Both of them. I can't say nothing bad against both of them. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I am excited. Shayna's getting back to being the Shayna of old, literally breaking arms, taking names, making it hurt in all the right way. And she's not in someone's coattail. In the fact that she's turned on her former best friend. Outside of the ring, they're sisters. They're real close. But inside, again, this is a business. We're here for one thing, and that's to, put on a show. And these two are gonna put on a clinic. I've seen Shayna break some arms and break some fingers. I've seen Ronda do the same thing, break some legs. These girls can literally get in there and they can tie it up with the best of, the best. But to go against each other and to have been there from day one, again, those video packages don't do it justice unless you've seen them from start to finish. That's just a video package, in my opinion, and it was good, but it's just that.
And even putting in the history behind it, the fact that they met through the Ultimate Fighter and whatnot, with Ronda being Shayna's coach, and essentially just the friendship that they created. Of course, mentions of the Four Horsewomen with Marina, and essentially saying that it all culminates to this, that Ronda has always been a step better than Shayna, or able to pick it up faster, been the bigger name, and Shayna, essentially a little bit of jealousy, a little bit of hatred towards Ronda, but also a little bit of animosity on the other direction, because essentially Shayna's been the one who's done all the work, yet Ronda's gotten all the glory.
Yeah.
So switching to you, from the perspective, which side do you feel is the one that is the most justified? Because to be perfectly honest, you don't really see a face or a heel in this one, despite the fan interaction.
Honestly, if you have a more relatable side, I feel like it's Shayna. Sometimes there's always that one person who just knows somebody or knows. Because again, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So
we all know that someone.
Yeah, so I feel like Shayna's more justified. I mean, Ronda, I don't disagree with what she says. It's difficult sometimes, but when it came to Shayna and it came to the video package, I felt it deep in my soul when Shayna was like, I was there front and center for you when you were having your camps. How many of my camps did Ronda come to? I said 0.
That's real talk right there.
That's crazy, and honestly, I see it as fuel. I see it as
fuel for
the
fire.
Exactly. I see it as the motivation. I'm sorry, y'all. The motivation that she's gonna need just to go ahead and, make it do what it do. Come on.
But as I said, already, and I know you probably were more genuinely excited because you've been a big fan of these two for some time. But as I said, I had a hard time getting genuinely into this one until that video package on Raw. And now it seems like, this is one of the matches that I'm looking forward to, also with the question mark of, what are going to be the rules of this match? Is it going to be a straight MMA fight? Is it going to be, something, twisted in there? I don't know. 30 seconds here, so I'm going to just throw my pick in here real quick as I go first. I feel like Shayna has to go over here, because if Ronda's leaving, it does Shayna no good to lose this match, you know, especially with it being one that you know is not going to involve any type of disqualification or, you know, slip out. It needs to have a clean winner, and I feel like it does better for, you know, Shayna, especially if you're ready to push her again.
I feel like after you called me the knockoff version of you, and you have to understand, Shannon has heard that several times over, so it probably wasn't personal coming from everybody else, but it had to have felt kind of personal coming from her best friend, her sister, like they have sisterhood, Ronda, and that comment with how many of my camps have you been to? 0. If that's not extra fuel for that fire, I don't know what is. I don't. And, you know, y'all know how much I love Shayna. I'm picking Shayna all day, every day. Tomorrow, the next day, and every day after that.
Alrighty.
I also am going to take Shayna, but I think with the whole argument,
He's giving you a hug.
Okay.
And kisses.
Yeah.
Excuse you. All right.
We'll just stay here for another hour and
All
watch
right.
the cat.
So no, I also like Shayna, but I think I don't want to say this is storyline, but what better way to send off your friend than letting her go over you? Like Ronda is known as the baddest woman. What better way to spike that career and get it started, you know, than to sit there and go ahead and be like, all right, well, I'm done, so let me just go on and pass the baton to you. Let's go.
Well, you see how Ronda.
Take me out, man.
Well, you see how Ronda. One of the biggest things they talked about was her when she came back wanting to put over who she felt were the biggest names in the women's division, and the two biggest names you've seen that have consistently gone over by Ronda have been Liv Morgan, and now possibly Shayna Baszler. You know, her best friend in real life. So we'll see how it all pans out. I'm gonna do some zoom ins on this so y'all can enjoy the the adorableness that Zorro over here is bringing. Let's move to match 4, our first championship match on the bracket. In fact, all but one of our matches the rest of the way is a championship match. This one is for the Intercontinental Championship, and it will feature the current incumbent champion, the Ring General, Gunther.
Oh my god, even you sound annoying when you say it.
Yeah, well, you weren't complaining when Ludwig's saying it.
No, you don't.
She hates when
I
he
hate
says
when he says it. I mean,
That
I love you. I
is
really do. I just cannot. I just cannot.
Gunther defending the IC title against the Scottish Warrior, Drew McIntyre. Now, McIntyre recently coming off a little bit of a post-WrestleMania sabbatical. Not uncommon for some folks to decide to take a little bit of a break after Mania. We all know that McIntyre got sick and also was nursing a couple of injuries, but now he's back and at 100%, and I feel like this now gets the storyline and gets the credit it deserves. They've done an outstanding job of making Gunther look absolutely as strong as possible over the last several weeks, including what I feel like could be a lead-up to a fantastic matchup, maybe at Payback or something against Chad Gable on Raw. So I feel like he has done absolutely magnificent work. Also with the particular tweak back and forth with Ludwig and Giovanni not doing so well, but then trying to earn themselves back into the good graces of the Ring General. It's done particularly well. Drew has certainly done what he needed to do to stake his claims. Portraying the fact that he didn't get the job done at Mania, but also Sheamus played a role in that as well. So, Alyssa, we'll start with you in terms of where this one's heading now that instead of getting a triple threat like we got at Mania, now Drew gets his one-on-one.
I'm excited. Child, let me just go ahead and start with that. I'm excited. I'm excited for this one. I always enjoy watching Gunther compete, and who better to give him than somebody his size? Normally he'd be over there fighting people like Riddle and Chad Gable. I mean, where he clearly has like a height advantage.
Yeah.
This one, they're finna stand nipple to nipple, nose to nose, everything. I'm excited.
I'm sorry.
They're finna stand chest to chest, and they both. When I think of the heavy hitters, I think of these two and Sheamus. I'm talking about finna knock you in the next week type John. So I'm excited to see the two compete. They put on a good triple threat match, but I'm excited to see them get down to the nitty gritty. Let's go.
Yeah, so there's not going to be any particular technique in this particular one. This is going to be a drag out, drop down type of fight. And that's exactly what you'd expect from these two. But I think what most people are considering is the fact that, Gunther is closing in on a milestone. He's only about 40 days away from being the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. And you would think that Drew would likely be one of, if not his last challenger, between now and then to potentially dethrone him for that championship. So, with Drew taking the sabbatical, do you feel like he's the right person to take it off of Gunther, even if whether he's your pick or not? Do you feel like he's the right guy, or do you have another thought in mind as to where this run needs to go for Gunther?
For me, I like Drew. I love Drew. I really do. Despite the cricket commercial and everything, with the rocket strapped to his
Wrapped to
neck.
my legs.
I feel like I'm glad Drew took that sabbatical because you know with this profession, with this career, you need to take those because if you don't, you'll get exhausted, you'll be drained, you just won't physically, mentally, and emotionally have it. And for the fans, and something he's said is, I need to have it for the fans. I know Cena's been like that, he's been like that, but in all retrospect, I've loved seeing Gunther literally hold this title, this very title here, and give it prestige, give it its moment. And it's not just a simple moment, it's I'm serious, this is wrestling, it's more than a title, but if I have to hold the title, I want it to mean something. And I don't want to just, I don't want to just throw it to the wayside because it's not meant
He's
to be
made the
thrown.
title relevant again.
He really has, and I love it for him, and it is what it is. So, like Alyssa said, they're going to be standing head to head, nipple to nipple, chest to chest. Like, they're going to throw down. Now, I'm going to need to see Gunther. I know he can do it on his own, but I'm going to need the other two to stay in the back. I cannot see Ludwig get beat up on again for doing something wrong. We already saw that run. It didn't go well for him.
Poor guy.
Yeah, so I don't need to see that again. I really don't. Just y'all stay in the back for this match.
We all know that's likely not going to happen.
We
but,
know.
We'll see. But either way, hey, the record, the soon-to-be record title run. He's already the longest IC champion of the modern era, but now he's closing in on that top status. Roman, carrying his championships up towards those god-esque levels. But the IC title has definitely got a prestige of its own. Kia, you're up first. Who you got?
Again, Gunther has done this title justice. I see him retain it. I don't see it going nowhere. And as much as I love Drew, and I would love to pick Drew, Gunther is the right person to hold this title at this moment. And I would like to see him get the numbers that Roman gets, but at the same time, if he's going to drop this title, if Jay can't get the job done, I need you to get the job done. I'm going to need someone to dethrone Roman and call it a day.
Well, he'd more than likely be going for Seth because
It
it's a long
wouldn't.
show.
I feel like if they jump ship, I feel like if he was told, hey, we going to jump ship, he can go for Roman, not Seth, because I love Seth.
Gotcha. You?
I love you. Can we
I like
actually-
Gunther to retain as well.
Can we make this like a little video, like a sidebar
I
video?
already said I would.
I know, because you said you were going to do blooper reels and everything else, so this needs to be the most cutest, adorablest, most precious, if that's really a word, video.
Should have just given you a whiteboard and just write your pick on there.
Exactly, because every time I go to talk, y'all, he comes right here. Golly, but I like Gunther to retain.
I'm going Gunther as well. I think Drew is the guy who I think has the capacity to be able to hold up against three members of Imperium. There's no doubt that Ludwig and Giovanni will definitely get involved. But Gunther's you're right, and he's the right person to hold the title. He's setting up that prestige. He's setting up that mindset, and also he's too close to that that top status, and as a person who is deserving of it.
Yeah.
Now, once he crosses that number, all bets are off at that stage. Very similar to Roman when he starts hitting all the accolades. Everybody assumes that's when it's going to happen. It hasn't happened yet, but let's move on with what we've got. So Gunther across the board. We'll see if that sticks. Let's move to our fifth match at the halfway point of our live event here, and it is our only multi-person championship match. I don't know if Alyssa's going to be able to reach it with El Gato over there, but it is for the Undisputed WWE Women's Championship. Now, we don't have the updated one yet, so the Raw Women's Championship, which was the title that ultimately it replaced, will continue to represent it during our shows until we're able to get our hands on the new one. But it is a triple threat match featuring the current women's champion, Asuka, battling against both the EST, Bianca Belair, and the Queen, Charlotte Flair. When it comes to the prestige, the numbers, the accolades, the title reigns, you name it, this match has the three best not named Rhea Ripley essentially competing in this matchup. Any of these could compete one-on-one, and you've got yourself a WrestleMania main event-esque type of match. Now you're going to get the three of them in a triple threat with the championship on the line. It is a match built for either SummerSlam or Mania. And, you know, I love the fact that they're not holding back in terms of putting the best three women that SmackDown has to offer out there. Alyssa, we'll start with you. Essentially, just, you know, you've got a chance to see all three of these for quite some time now, so now it's, you know, it's put up or shut up time. They've all staked their claim, all but of course been multiple former time champions, so this has match of the night potentially written all over it and could very quietly steal the show.
Oh yeah. This one's the one I'm definitely most looking forward to. I don't know if it's because it has Bianca Belair in it and Charlotte Flair in it.
Of course, the EST.
You know, come on now. I love the EST and Charlotte too. And Asuka, I like all three. But you know, the talent within this match alone, I feel like makes admission worth it, you know? Like
you'd pay just to watch
this one. Yeah. So we had this discussion.
No, I gotta give you hugs. I scratched you up earlier, and now I'm trying to say I'm sorry in the most precious way ever. So,
Sorry.
Little scratch marks right here.
Yeah, he tore my little knees up. But anyway, back to the show. Again, all three former women's champions, Asuka holding it now, you know. But it's like the talent within this match alone just wow.
Speaks for itself.
I can't. I don't know.
Words would not do it justice.
Words do not do it justice for me. Sorry.
So I'm gonna kind of not monkey flip. I'm gonna piggyback off of what Alyssa said. I'm sorry, and she's right. This radiates wow factor. This radiates every female for herself. I'm the strongest. I can do this. I'm da-da-da. Whatever. Now, what I'm going to tell y'all is when I was in New Orleans and Asuka and Charlotte had to go head-to-head, I was devastated when Asuka lost because my heart was pulling for her, my head was pulling for her, and Charlotte took the title. Now...
You believe that was 6 years ago?
I know, 6 years ago. Now, if Charlotte happens to take this time, there is no crying to be had because, child, it's time for Asuka to go ahead and drop that thing. Now, what I'm upset about is Bianca is asking for her chances. She's literally waiting. She's been patient. She's, you know, I don't feel like it's favorable to her. And I feel like she was thrown in, or she made her way in, but I feel like Pierce did that so he could kind of clear the air and say, okay, well, now she's getting her chance. She's getting her shine. She's going to get the if at this point this does not work for her, then at that point she's going to the back of the line. That's what I feel like this is for Bianca. That's why, in my opinion, I feel like I would like her to go ahead and try to win back the title. I feel like she really never really lost because it's been hers for some time. Asuka has been great, you know, entertainment. She's fun. I don't understand what she's saying, but I'll figure it out along the way. I'll figure out what she's saying. If knowing me, I'll do Duolingo, we'll translate. And it's just the wow factor for these ladies is great. Now, do I see a heel turn? Yes, I do. I see Bianca heel turning. Here's what I see. I see Bianca heel turning, and I see her and Charlotte joining up, even for a few moments, to go against Asuka. But hey, this is here nor there. That's just speculation. It's not really, you know, what it is.
It's kind of an interesting twist on there, considering that Asuka's technically supposed to be the heel in this.
Yeah, but I feel
they're trying to push Charlotte as a face, and it never works with her.
It really does. I just feel like Bianca has been patient, and it's not working. And that's pushing her to her point of now she's wearing all dark clothing. That only tells you one thing. She's making a turn.
Well, I guess we'll see how it pans out. You know, Bianca, I mean, her entire agenda here has been, look, when I was a champion for over 400 days, longest reigning Raw Women's Champion of all time. And yet, the moment that all of a sudden I drop the title, magically there's a new title for Asuka, and now magically she's the Undisputed Champion now. And magically Charlotte gets to jump the line and gets to take the title shot that's already been promised to me. And eventually got to the point of, I'm tired of waiting in line, despite the fact that Charlotte used the line, I am the line. You know, so, you know, Charlotte's accolades speak for herself. You know, it's weird to see her without gold, so, you know, it seems fitting at a match as the caliber of SummerSlam that this ends up being where this lies out. So 30 seconds here. We'll have to move quick through this one, but our picks for this one, Alyssa, you start. He's waiting for you to
I like
talk, so
Charlotte.
that way he can...
I like Charlotte getting it.
Charlotte?
Yeah.
Any particular reason?
She's sneaky. She does what she needs to do.
I can see it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird that you would actually go with that route because I believe your reason is correct. I believe the person who wins it is wrong. I'm actually going to flip it the other way. I think Asuka retains. But I think it's for the exact same reason. I could see it being one of those where Bianca's going to do all the work.
Yeah.
And then Asuka's going to be the one who's going to throw her out of the ring and slip in, and Asuka will get the win with Bianca snapping a little bit further due to someone else once again stealing her shine and stealing her moment. I think Asuka retains.
Okay, well, I guess we all have different picks going into this match.
Hallelujah, there will be no perfects in this one.
Hallelujah, let me go ahead. I still love you, though.
You heard it. It's live. The internet
Bianca,
saw it.
Bianca. No, they didn't. They didn't see it. Turn your backs. They didn't see it. So
Turn away for a second.
I'm picking Bianca because, again, she's been patient. She's been waiting. She's done everything she's supposed to do. And at this point, I feel like she's got to go back for that title. So my pick is the EST.
Ooh, so this will be one that will actually be sitting in our seats very, very much in flux on this one because we each are going with somebody different. I'm sorry, but yes!
Yes!
Gracious.
We know they ain't sorry. We know they want
3 to go. We're trying to move this along. There's no way we're staying under an hour, but we tried. We really did. You know us. We ramble. 3 to go. Moving to our second to last championship match, and it is for the World Heavyweight Championship on Monday Night Raw, as the 7-year rivalry will continue and potentially come to an end. As for the second live event in a row, it will be Seth freaking Rollins going one-on-one with Finn Balor of the Judgment Day. Now,
why must they do this to me again? Why?
You already had to survive this once.
I know. Who was my pick the last time?
You picked Seth.
And you
Despite wearing a Finn shirt. Well, he's still holding the gold, so yes.
I had to make sure. You know I'm forgetful. Thank you. You know I'm forgetful.
Turn away for a second. But either way, you know, the storylines, you know, if you want to see the storyline behind this one, just add a few weeks. But go back and watch our top rope spoilers from Money in the Bank. You know, this goes all the way back to 7 years ago when Finn narrowly outlasted Seth to win the first Universal Championship, but had to give it up the next night due to getting injured. Seth laughed at him. Seth chuckled. Ultimately, Seth has won it a couple more times since, and now is the inaugural World Heavyweight Champion. And Finn continues to hold that animosity that my career would be very different if Seth had done what he was, you know, what he should have done, and that is gracefully take the loss. But instead, you laughed at the fact that it took away 8 months of my career, and he's never been the same since. Now, a lot of people would speculate that Finn had Seth beat at Money in the Bank if it wasn't for Damian Priest still standing outside with Money in the Bank. And on 2 different occasions, despite a verbal agreement between the two that Finn would be the next one to get a shot at Seth, Damian has teased cashing in Money in the Bank. And so I have a feeling that regardless of which way this one goes, he's definitely going to be lurking somewhere nearby. Kia, we'll start with you because, hey, they're your two guys. So, hey, let's see what you how you feel on this one.
I feel the same. I'm going to say I feel like Finn, I can see he's justified in how he feels. You have to think he was called up from NXT to the main roster to be on Raw, to actually go for the title that he won, only to have to lose it the next night. And I've watched Naomi do the same thing because she got hurt, and I got to watch Finn get hurt, and he had to lose it. I feel how I could understand how Finn feels. I would be upset because, like, I did all the work, I had all the glory, and then I had to relinquish it the next night. Not really getting a full title run like I wanted. I feel like at that point, if he had a full title run, and he lost it over like maybe 3 to 6 months afterwards, then I don't feel like there would be any resentment. I feel like there would be like a battle, but not like this form of resentment. Seth came out the next night and laughed on his way down to the ring, which, again, Finn has kept that in the back of his head for the last 7 years. Seth don't give a damn. Seth's like, my title reign is longer than yours and yours and yours and will be, and he laughs about it still.
Well, in Seth's defense, remember he had to give up the World Heavyweight title back in 2015 because of he had his knee injury. So it's not like he is unknown of what he does, and he's even mentioned the fact that he's like, I can relate.
Yeah.
I couldn't relate at the time, I can now.
No, because that was a nasty injury, and that came out of nowhere too.
It was filthy.
Ooh, child.
Listen.
That's what I'm saying. I like what Seth has done with the title. I like how he's introduced it to the company. I feel like he's done a wonderful job, like making it relevant and really just putting it on the map how it needs to be. With that being said, though, look at Judgment Day right now.
They're unstoppable.
They're on a tear. Holy crud. I've been waiting for this. I feel like I knew it was coming, but like as soon as Bloodline slipped out, like as a whole,
Yeah.
they have just picked up the torch and have been running through everyone. This is what I saw for them originally, but I just didn't know how long it would take them to get here. And now that it's here,
And now it's here, and it doesn't look like it's stopping anytime soon
really
because there is
doesn't.
discussion about how every member of Judgment Day could potentially hold gold at the end of this live
Yeah,
event
that's
if
exactly.
Priest was to, cash in, and then Balor gets the job done too.
Mhm.
So, I mean,
Boy.
you look at everything in terms of, the spectacle, but it's like Finn has been the one that's been kind of the one that is still waiting to get the job done because Mommy did her part. Dom went down to NXT and has handled his business a couple of times now.
Proud of him. I'm proud of him.
Dirty Dom. Well, hey, we'll see. I'm sure, no doubt, he'll be somewhere nearby during all of this. And then Damian winning Money in the Bank, and you know that he's got future champion written on him at some stage, possibly as early as this upcoming Saturday. So we'll see how it pans out. But Finn, this is more than a match to him. This is more than his entire premise of his entire career is based around beating Seth Rollins in this match. So as great as Seth has been with the gold, it almost feels like Finn is treating this like it's a must-win. Like, your career won't be worth anything if he can't get the job done here. And Seth narrowly escaping and the help of Judgment Day could very well play in his favor or may potentially backfire again as it did at Money in the Bank. Getting to our pick here, and I do go first. I think Alyssa hit the nail on the head. I'm going Finn Balor. I feel like this is the right moment to make that move. Seth's done what you needed to do, like you said, to make the championship relevant. But I feel like a run with Finn as champion, even if that means he's got to look over his shoulder for Damian every night, maybe put just a little bit of thought in the back of their head. Potentially could be sitting there. But I think this is the right moment to do it. I like Finn winning the title.
I know I picked Seth the last time, and I want to. My heart is saying go with like Seth right now, but I feel like I need to see the Judgment Day. Everybody across the board has to be holding a title or a briefcase or something. I feel like it's Finn's time. I feel like Finn has suffered and waited and resented enough. Now, I'm going to need Judgment Day, mainly Priest, to stay in the back because I just don't see it going well if he comes out there and then, like, Finn wins and then he's like, oh, I'm going up against you. That would just add fuel to the fire for Finn to say, no, this is not what we agree upon. So, I'm pulling for Finn this go around. No slight at Seth.
Okay.
I also like a title change here too, but I'm gonna look at it from the technical side. Seth has been hurt, and he's hurt, so I feel like it's time for that. It'll give Judgment Day will be the perfect cover while he's gone and having whatever work he needs done. So I like Finn to get it here too.
You're referring to the fact that he knows he's got something wrong with his knees. He knows something's wrong, but he's just trying to last as long as he can.
And he has done a wonderful job working through it, but it's time. Don't hurt yourself more,
Is it that same knee that he hurt, like...
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also you got to think he's not the young guy he used to be. No disrespect, none of us are except for Alyssa, who's going to be young forever. So it is what it is.
I age like 5 years every day. Don't do that.
I age like milk. But either
Are
way,
you sour?
Not he curdles.
only you two can answer that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
2 to go. This is one that I think has a vested interest, especially for our 2 ladies here. This will be the one where Alyssa will be putting in her earplugs.
Alyssa will have them in from the beginning, but
From the
Alyssa will
beginning.
be tightening these at this point. Please don't play activate fingers. Thank you.
And that is the rubber match between Cody Rhodes and the Beast, Brock Lesnar. Now, as we said, this is the rubber match between the 2 of them, as ultimately they each have split 1 match each. This, of course, coming off of Brock's turn against Cody the night after WrestleMania. Cody coming up short against Roman Reigns. He challenges Roman to a rematch. He doesn't give it to him. He says that, he'll team with somebody, and ultimately Brock answers the challenge, but then Brock turns on Cody, leading to what has been a nice little 4-month storyline with some Cody and Dom matches mixed in there as well. But at the end, they've each been able to pick up 1 win over the other. Cody going over Brock in Puerto Rico at what was the one in Puerto Rico? Shoot, that's terrible. It's not Payback. It's at
Backlash.
Backlash. Thank you. I knew it was something. I knew something along that lines. Backlash. But then Brock going over in Saudi Arabia, ultimately putting the Kimura on Cody. Cody did not tap out. He made sure it was very clear on that, but ultimately did get the pass-out win due to referee stoppage. So time to break the tie. Ultimately, we got to settle this, and I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't put a stipulation on this to make this maybe a little more gory, a little more, heartfelt. But at the end of the day, we know what these 2 bring. They're absolutely top of the game there. Pyro is unmatched sans Roman, perhaps. But at the end of the day, we know what these 2 bring to the table, and really not a ton needs to be said about their talent level except just ring the bell and turn them loose, but we'll give you both a shot at it. So, Alyssa, fire away.
Brock Lesnar hit hard. Cody Rhodes gets motivated by hit.
Repeat.
Boom, boom, bang, bang, boop, bada bop, bow, wow. Yeah. No.
Anybody that I can't wait to see how the closed captioning is going to grab that.
And then at the end, get into it.
No. Period!
Put it on a T-shirt. Get into it.
Yeah.
Period! But no, in all seriousness though, I look forward to this one. Cody has a lot of heart. I always enjoy watching him wrestle. He's grown on me wonderfully since he didn't beat the Tribal Chief. Y'all know I had to secretly hate him in my gut, but building him up though and watching his career, because I've gone back and I've kind of started watching his career and everything, his dad and all that. It's really making me appreciate him more as a wrestler. Also adds that much more respect on top of the wrestling with his torn pec and all that. Child, he's growing on me. So I'm excited to see this one. I think it'll be a great way to finish out the trilogy.
Yeah.
A great way to finish out the story.
No, he can't finish the story with Brock. He gotta finish that trilogy.
Y'all know how big of a fan I am of Cody's. I've been a fan since the day I started watching when he had the dark hair. He went through the Phantom phase where he broke his nose. He's been through the Stardust phase with the mask. He's gone through...
For the record, am I the only person who liked him as Stardust? I actually liked him as Stardust.
Dashing.
Yeah, Dashing, where he was giving the tips and the mirror and the hands and everything. I followed his career. I've been following his career for a while. And, you said he's grown on you. I would say go back, because you are one of the people that do your research. Keep going back and go back as far as you can to see where he really started from.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Brock, you know how Cody's grown on you? Brock has grown on me. We've had Boombox Brock. We've had Cowboy Brock. We've had Whiskey and Wine Brock. We've had Brock gonna whoop you in. Brock gonna do this and Brock gonna do that, and everything's just bigger and badder. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I felt like, you remember when we went to Raw and we saw that chair get...
What? We thought that was him. We sit over there.
I thought that was Cody. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to...
got smaller, didn't
He really did. I'm gonna have to hate Brock right now, and nothing against the player, but yeah. But no, in all retrospect, I feel like Brock has literally taken it to Cody. He's literally been in his mom's face and said, this is what's going to happen, this is what I'm going to do, you're not going to like it, so forth and so on. I love the fact that Cody literally has brought his mom into the story, not on purpose, but she's been there to support him. His wife's been there. I think they had their cute little baby girl there. Oh my gosh, so adorable. And it is what it is. I've been loving this story. And to say it's a great story, I'm liking how Cody is just he keeps fighting, like, through all the pain and all the struggle and everything. He's been like a fighter, and there's nothing you can say. Again, you said he has heart. He has plenty of it. He gets it from his daddy. May he rest in peace. And Brock, well, he's a fighter. He gets that, honestly, because, you know, MMA. He's big and bulky.
Brock Lesnar. Big. Bold.
Hey.
There we go.
I like how I kept it on my brain.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
He's not bold enough.
He really,
Not-
I mean,
not
like the middle part ain't, but the sides are.
See, this is why y'all need to do that fashion show or something. But you know.
I'm so
But either way, you know, you both hit the nail on the head. You know, the universe is going to obviously get behind Cody here, and we'll keep him certainly motivated. You know, we know he has the capability of beating Brock. Brock is capable of beating anyone. So, you know, it's really just going to come down to, can Cody muster up that last little bit to get that last push over Brock, or will Brock, you know, have another feather in his cowboy cap as he once again heads back off for what'll likely be another beast sabbatical.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I just heard, like, who was Reynolds from The Longest Yard. I just heard that in my head when you were speaking. Feather in the cap. Okay.
I have no clue who you're talking about.
Okay. Never mind. Continue on.
Either way, picks, because we're already past our time already, so you're up first.
Cody. No hesitation. I'm picking Cody. Y'all know I ride that train every day, all day. Toot toot.
Also,
I promise you, no alcohol is involved in this show.
I also like Cody to win, but I think it'll also just it's the next step to getting back to Roman. Like, it's building that
seems,
credibility that it's paving those stones that we needed for him to not win last year, but it's making it more and more credible for him to win and beat him next year.
Yeah.
And I agree with that sentiment. I think this is that next building block for Cody. If truly the line they're wanting to run is 40 being Roman versus Cody again, then Cody has to take this match. You've got to get him these big wins. I do feel like, you know, inevitably they have to find a different path for him to getting the match against Roman. Don't go with the predictable, oh, he won the Rumble again.
Yeah, no.
You know, don't repeat the story again, because, you know, if you repeat the story, you know, then expect the same ending. But either way, but I do think Cody's going to go ahead and take this one. You know, it does Brock no justice to win this match. But don't be shocked if they don't throw a swerve out there just to throw everything in flux. Or, you know, perhaps maybe Cody's next challenger ultimately costs him the match, whoever that may end up being. Shenanigans. Let's move on to our main event. And, yeah, this one's been one that's been standing on the books. I wish we had more than 6 minutes, but we are already well over our time. So we're going to have to find a way to turn this into 6 minutes. And, oh, yeah, I'm definitely holding this one. But it is our main event, at least what we are projecting to be the main event, and it is Tribal Combat!
Y'all like how Jay just came for Roman straight out the gate? There was no hesitation. Again, I'm loving this story. I am getting behind it. I can feel the energy and I can feel the power, and it makes you, it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter if you're at home, out in town, it doesn't matter where you are. You're getting behind the story, you're going to want to know what happened, what was said, and if you don't get in front of the TV and you're not looking at it, you're going to TikTok, you're going to Instagram, you're going to some form of social media to get the replays from Roman and Jay. It is hilarious. Not only do they do it for TV, but they do it for social media, they do it for themselves, and it's also a family thing. Tribal Combat. So anybody, I feel like, can get involved. I don't know. I want Jay to do this, but I have some really mixed feelings about this match, because I feel like there could be some involvement for him not to get it from Solo, from Paul, from like his own brother. I mean, Jimmy's not in the picture right now, but I feel like there's going to be some involvement, and I feel like it's going to make it to where Roman retains, and I hate it for Jay because I feel like Jay is deserving. And again, the stepping stones for Cody are the stepping stones that Jay has been literally doing for the last 2.5, almost 3 years. Keep the story going, please.
Well, we talk about, it's ironic that we had Cody directly before because that's exactly it. As much as we're talking about Cody trying to get to the end of his story, for Jay, this is the end of the story. This is his third match of his trilogy, but we had to wait over 2 years for him to get that third shot. And seeing just how far the main event, Jey Uso, has come in 2 years, because when he was getting the title shots 2 years ago during, in the Thunderdome, he was, he had never been at this level, and it's like, okay, he's going up too high, he's going up too much, and it was really Paul who, helped to push him up to that level, and then Roman showing his true colors in terms of like, look, I mean, I'm running the family, and if I'll go through everyone, and that includes you if I have to, but to see the evolution of not just Jay but Jimmy as well, the entire bloodline, watching them dominate, but now watching it fall to pieces, and now you get that end game, which is Roman now. Everything else around him is in tatters. He is surrounded by nothing but rubble. He stands on the island of relevancy all by himself. And now the one person who started it all as his first challenger now is the last person standing between him and ending the bloodline story with him still as the undisputed champion and the tribal chief. And I think that's what makes this one interesting, is the fact that it's very clear this tribal combat thing also puts the tribal chief status on the line. Roman has lived the mantra the entire time, so now going to Roman's biggest fan, but also a huge fan behind the bloodline in total, just where's your brain sit on this?
It sits with Roman. We already know that.
I didn't sit here and say a pick. I said, where is she sitting from a mental standpoint in all of this?
It makes me nervous, honestly. Let's be real here. It makes me nervous, but also at the same time, it's like you've watched the story unfold, and it has had the highest highs and also the lowest lows. But this storyline has single-handedly kept me watching. Like, Roman got me in the door. This storyline kept me going, and honestly,
the final piece to the best story WWE's written, maybe ever.
Yeah. Like, it honestly blows my mind. Like, I'm sitting here, like, thinking it all through, watching them go through their I Quit match, seeing how the tribal chief was, like, formed, even going back and, like, watching him before he was a tribal chief. Like, wow, you really put yourself on a new level, and really has been carrying the company. I mean, the match just honestly blows my mind. So it makes me nervous to see it come to this. I'm excited to see the tribal combat match, though, because I know you said it's only them two and nobody else can really get involved.
The idea is that it's supposed to be just the two of them. Anything goes in the match, and anything goes until it starts. But then once you get in there, the idea behind it is that it is only supposed to be Roman and Jay. Now, will it stay that way? Don't know. But, that's supposed to be the concept. And you just look at all of this, and, you see all these, you see it in movies, you see it in television shows, that ultimately the person who normally brings the end to the bad guy is the monster he ultimately created to start with. And you watched as Jey Uso went from just, hey, little cousin, tag team wrestler for life, and he made him into a person that now is going to main event his second consecutive premium live event, really his third if you include Survivor Series as well. So, he's put Jey Uso on that next level. And now it comes down to WWE having to make the decision, after watching Roman Reigns now for well over 1,000 days, is Jey Uso now the man that is going to be the face of the WWE? Because everyone knows Roman's pathway eventually leads to Hollywood, eventually leads to him handing the reins, no pun intended, to somebody else. It essentially just comes down to, is this the ultimate culmination? And you've heard me say it many times, on this very show that I have believed for the longest time that it was Jey Uso, not Cody Rhodes, not Seth Rollins. It needed to be Jey Uso, needed to be the one to end Roman's run. He gets his shot this Saturday. We now move to the tough part. We've talked about it all we can. Cards are now on the table, and Alyssa has to go first. Roman, Jey, Undisputed, WWE Universal Championship, and the Tribal Chief status. Who takes it from Detroit?
The Motor City. I'm so glad I can have it.
I can't. I'm sorry. I can't do it. It's gonna be the Tribal Chief. It's gonna be Roman.
It's Roman.
It has to be. I can't. My heart cannot take it if it's not. Y'all already saw me cry like a baby at Mania when the Usos lost. So can y'all only imagine what y'all are gonna have to do if Roman loses here?
Okay, so we're gonna have to pick you up off the floor, throw you over our
Y'all gonna have to go
shoulders,
get him.
Carry me.
Okay.
Y'all are gonna have to go get him himself, and he's gonna have to come on there and talk to me. That's the only way. Or else I'm gonna be over there on the ground like this. I can't.
We'll have to just leave her there.
They'll have to roll me. Y'all have to just tell me tuck, and y'all will roll me.
Tough. So going Roman.
I got to.
Okay. I think you hit the right mindset when you said that emotions are going to be high, because this is where you get the grand finale. This is the last explosion. This is the last gunshot in the movie. This is the last moment in terms of everything that you have built for 2.5 years. This is where it all comes down to that final piece. The story of the bloodline comes to an end right here. And ultimately, you have to see, who do you want being the person that comes out of this storyline as the face of your company? And right now, I've been saying it for years now, that it needs to be Jey Uso that ultimately is the one that ends Roman Reigns' run. But it's not going to happen here. I think it happens at Mania. Everybody thinks it's going to be Cody and Roman. I think Jey gets it at Mania. He comes close. 2.99. Like the hand is literally about to clip the mat. Is going to come close. And the crowd is going to be frantic for this. Roman Reigns, though, will retain at SummerSlam.
I mean, the crowd's gonna be frantic, don't you think? Kia gonna be frantic. Kia gonna be on the edge of her seat, pulling for this man.
You're going to be in your seat? I'm standing.
Well, you know, it's gonna be here or
I'm
there.
under my seat. Fuck that shit. I can't take it. My heart is not built for this mess anymore. I'm under it.
I can see it. I can see it. This is a head-heart situation. My heart is full well with Jey. He deserves it. He is more than deserving. But if we can continue this story all the way until Mania,
Let's do it!
okay, you know what? I'm okay with Roman holding this title all the way until the next Mania. I really am, which is coming up. If Jey is the one that takes the title off of him. So with all due respect, and it's not a slight against Jey, Tribal Combat's going to be great, but I feel like everything that you've thrown at Roman, I feel like that's just motivation, that's building, that's fuel for the fire. You thought you were gonna get me? No, I'm going to get you. I feel like Roman literally stays a few steps ahead of Jey. At this point, it's Roman for the win, no doubt. And if Jey is even 2.99999 close, I'm going to be in tears.
But nobody's going to be upset if Jey wins, though.
No, I'm jumping for joy. Let's go, let's get it. But I'm not going to be upset about it. I'm going to be rejoicing. I'm going to be rejoicing. Rejoicing, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Roman across the board, though.
Got to. I'm so sorry. Can't see it any other way.
Big moment. And again, of course, we talked about earlier, Damian also still sitting in the wings. What if Jey pulls out the win, but then Damian takes Jey's moment away from him?
You can't end his run like that. This run is too historic.
Okay, first of all,
Not like that.
Just go ahead and go on the record. Me and Damian are going to have some words. I will square up with you if you do this. No joke, so just know that, Damian.
Gracious. Either way, that brings an end to it. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm pretty sure this was our longest one ever, but hey, it's one of the big four, So we always know we're gonna chat a little bit more, but we certainly tried to keep it brief. I promise you, we did. We'll be in Detroit, so if you see us, holler at us, come say hey to us. We'll take some pictures, put them, give you a shout out on the show or something. Last thoughts before we go.
I'm excited. I can't wait to get back to the Motor City. I can't wait for the SummerSlam, PLE. I'm not going to lie to you, I already have my bags packed, y'all. I really do. I keep them things packed, and I wash my clothes when I need to and fold them back up and put them in the bag. I'm ready. Let's go. The only thing I need to put in there is my jersey.
There you go. Listen.
I look forward to it as well. I also look forward to the mental break.
I agree. We
goodness.
desperately
Yes.
need it.
Yes,
Just a
ma'am.
couple of days, a little sidebar trip to Canada, maybe, because it's really close by. But yeah, I'm with you. We need a little bit of just a mental break away before the kids get back into full school mode. So either way, we'll call it here. So you guys have yourself a great rest of your time, rest of your week, and we will see you guys on Saturday in Detroit. Take it easy.
Bye. Be breezy.